Hello there, this is Shelly15. Welcome to my tutorial series on how to animate with sprites, episode 10, in which I will teach you how to add sounds, music to your flash animation or sprite animation, and then how to export it so you can upload it onto YouTube or any other platform. However, this is the last episode. This is the last episode of my basic tutorial series, and after this one I will probably not do any more of these. The only thing I will do less frequently though is make smaller tutorial videos in which I will just focus on one specific thing. Just to give an example, I would like to show you how to animate backgrounds properly. That's something I could do very briefly in a very short video, but as far as the complete tutorial series is concerned, this is the last video. And since I've got a lot to cover in this episode, it will be a lengthy video, I suppose, at least longer than the previous installments. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Here we go. So, in preparation for this tutorial video, I made a very small animation. Let's preview it. Oh wait, look! This is the Sonic Mania sprite. Well, not really. It's not unofficially released yet, but it looks very similar though. So this kind of animation is pretty easy, and with everything that you've seen in the previous tutorial videos, you should be able to make this. Just a simple animated graphic that is moving from one point to the next using motion tween, and I'm also using the VCam. So this is pretty standard, so you should be able to make this. But what I'm going to teach you now in this video is how to add sounds, music to your flash animation. So let's do that. Just to keep things simple, I will just add 2 sound effects and 2 music tracks, or at least part of that. And there are actually several ways how you can add music to your animation. In the first method, we will just simply put it in Flash. We're gonna do everything in Flash. So let me just get the folder which contains all the music pieces. Now let's have a quick listen to it very quickly. Alright, so what I did is I just took those music tracks and I just, how should I say, I cropped them out. I just took a very small excerpt of the Starlight Zone theme song. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to import this into Flash. You can either go to, like with images, just go to import and import to stage, or in this case rather import to library, or you can just simply drag and drop those items into the library. Make sure it is a WAV file, because MP3 sometimes doesn't work. It doesn't really work when you import it, so make sure it's a WAV file. One thing I never could figure out when I was working with Flash is how to maximize the quality of the sound, because if you just now take one of the sounds, let's just take the spin sound, alright, you can just simply drag and drop it into your timeline. Now let's just go ahead and select the perfect moment for that. Alright, this is the moment Sonic is going to run. Alright, let's just zoom in to have a better look at it. So this is the moment he's running. So at this point we want the sound effect to play, right? So just to create a blank keyframe, or in keyframe anyway, and then just go to the properties panel. You go to sound. Sorry, I was just interrupted there. So like I said, you go to name, nothing is selected. Now you can select a sound effect, or you can just simply drag and drop your sound effect while having selected this specific frame. There you go. Now you have a sound effect in your timeline. Now here's the thing. When you add a sound, there's 2 ways it can be inserted. It's either a stream or it's a event. And let's not mind let's forget about start and stop for now. But the 2 main types of sounds that you can have is either event or stream. Let's keep it at stream for now. I will explain the event and stream difference in a minute. Before moving on, I need to show you something very important, which I just discovered maybe a few months ago, and completely changed my way I think about audio in Flash. Go to File, you go to Publish Settings, and then you take the tab Flash, and then you go to Audios, like Images and Sound, and underneath there's Audio Stream and Audio Event. You gotta set both to maximum property or whatever it's called. So in this case you set compression to MP3, and the bitrate you gotta put it to max. You gotta do it. And for the other one as well, this would actually maximize the quality of your sound so it doesn't sound too muffled or whatever might be the case. And at the same time it somehow fixes the everlasting syncing problem that I always had when I was using Flash in the beginning. But now that's fixed, so I am much more confident using audio files in Flash. So hit OK. However, I've got to be honest, I'm not an expert when it comes to audio in Flash. There are many settings I'm not really aware about, so perhaps there's a way to further improve the sound quality in Flash. But what I'm showing you now is just what I've learned recently, and if you want to know more about that, so maybe you have to check out other tutorial videos, or maybe future tutorial videos, or in this case smaller tutorial videos in the future that I might in which I might focus more on the sound editing in Flash. But for now, let's just stick with that, and let's preview the Flash file just quickly, see how it looks like and sounds like. There we go. Okay, it just took a minute to load. It just took a second to load, but if it loops, it's gonna sound a little bit better, I suppose. There we go. So now we're gonna add the rest of the sound effects. Or at least there's just one more sound effect, so we're just gonna do that very quickly. There we go. Oh, as you can see, the sound is actually playing while you're working on your timeline. You can actually sort of preview the sound in your timeline like this. And in this case, I slowed it down. And it even goes backwards. Pretty amazing. So let's just go to the moment where Sonic passes the panel. This is right here. So we're going to insert the other sound effect, which in this case is called panel.wave. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. I'm making sure it's a stream. I will, like I said before, I will go into detail about that because there's a major difference. Well, not a major difference, but still a significant difference between stream and event. And like I said, let's forget about start and stop for now. Like I said, I'm not an expert, so there's many things I'm not considering here, like for instance here the 44 kilohertz stereo. There's many things I'm not really sure about what it all means. Anyways, so in this case we have the first sound. There we go. It works just fine. Let's preview it one more time. There we go. Sounds about right to me. Okay, so now let's add the music. The music is a little bit different. We're dealing not with sound effect, but with something that is a little bit more, has a little bit more duration. So let's just add the first music, which is Starlight Zone, the little excerpt that I made. Now let's select it right here. Make sure it's a stream. So here's the problem. Once Sonic passes the panel, right, the music's gotta fade out. Now in Flash, if you want to apply the fade out effect to music, all you gotta do is go to effects right here and select fade out. Now the problem is I want the music to fade out right around here. So what you can do is insert a blank keyframe, and now let's go back to the effect and let's click this pencil button. It says edit sound envelope, whatever, it's quite complicated. Now you've got the two channels in which the music is playing. Now let's zoom out to see a little bit more. And as you can see, the fade out effect is applied, but it is only taking place right after this line. This line is actually the keyframe that we placed right here. So all you gotta do is place this fade out a little bit more right here, so it actually ends on this keyframe. So if you play the music, watch out. Alright, it works. Just for my taste, it is a little bit too long. The fade out effect is a little bit too long. Maybe you just shorten it. Okay, that's okay. So after that, I want the other music to play, which is the act past. There we go. Make sure it's a stream. So in total, we will get this. There we go, it works. Alright, I didn't make the animation long enough for the music to play out, but that doesn't matter. So that's how you actually work with music and sound effect in Flash. Now, like I said, there's many different options and properties that I don't consider when working with audio files, because first of all, I'm not used to it, and I personally don't think this is the best way to add sound effects. I think there's a better way. I will show that at the end of the video, at the end of the tutorial video, but this is basically how you can insert music, sound effects into your Flash animation. Okay, now to the best of my knowledge, I will try to explain the difference between a event sound and a stream sound, because I really am not sure about all the details about that, so maybe you want to watch another tutorial video about that which goes much more into detail. But just for my taste, the way I would describe it, a stream is just simply the sound as it is integrated into the timeline. So if you move your cursor, you actually get to hear the music. It's a bit loud, sorry. But if you turn it into an event, you don't hear it. Okay? But you actually hear it in the final video, in the final animation video. Much like a movie clip, the event sound doesn't really sync up with the animation. What happens is that if you stop your animation and you have an event sound clip, it will continue playing, while the stream sound clip will actually stop with the video. So it's pretty much, it's kind of like the graphic and movie clip comparison. It's very similar. It's again very similar. You have your stream audio, which has quite an advantage because it actually is closely synced to the animation, while the event sound is sort of like an independent sound effect. It will just play at that moment, no matter if the Flash animation is stopped or is playing. So it is, yeah, it's again one of those things where you have two options. Both are interesting, but they don't complement each other. But anyways, quite interesting. If you want to use that, go ahead. Now, as far as the start and stop options are concerned, you can use those to actually stop an event sound, because if you have this event sound, it will, like I said, it will not stop unless you open up this, you choose stop, and I think start is the other way around, but I've never used that one actually. I sometimes use stop, but not that often. So again, I want to emphasize, I'm not an expert when it comes to audio editing or audio mixing, whatever, in Flash. It's something new to me. I used to use it a lot when I was working on the older Ocho videos, because I was kind of forced to use sounds in that case. But starting with Sonic Ocho 3, I used a different method, which was just simply using an audio editing program in which I inserted my animation, and then I composed sort of the music, the sounds and everything. I put everything together in that audio editing program, and afterwards I exported the audio, and that was kind of the way I was working now as of late. I will show that in a minute, but now we're gonna focus on something more important, I guess. It's just simply exporting your animation. So when you're done with the animation, when you decided to use your sound effects in Flash, all you gotta do, and it's very similar to previewing, because usually you go to control and you preview your scene, right? Just click on it once, it will open up, you will get to see it. But at the same time, Flash already creates a file that you can actually watch. It's called an SWF file. Alright? So you can either just test your Flash file, your Flash animation, and it will automatically create that file, or just simply go to File, Export. You can also export as an image, whatever you mean, whatever you have selected, but of course you're gonna go to export movie. And when you go to export movie, it just takes a second here. You can now, yeah, that's right. You can select where you want to save it. Now I'm just gonna choose episode 10 of my tutorial folder, and you can choose the format. Now, PNG sequence, a GIF sequence, JPEG, whatever. You can choose whatever you want, even an animated GIF. Although it's not always guaranteed that this will work. Considering that you're mostly going to work with very large files, this could be a very difficult to execute option. Anyway, what you want to do always is export as an SWF movie file. Choose this, save it. Now you're gonna, believe me, Flash is a very quick program when it comes to creating SWF files, because SWF files are very small. That's kind of an advantage of working with Flash. So let's go to that folder. I think it's right here. Yes, let me just check. Okay, I've called it work file, so don't don't mind the name. So if you click it, you can actually see your Flash animation. There you go. It's a little bit choppy because it actually needs time to load. There we go. So now it's working properly. That's it. So that's what you do first. You export your Flash animation as a SWF file. That's the Flash video, so to speak. Now, this is not it. You want to be able to upload this onto YouTube, for instance, but you cannot upload an SWF file onto YouTube. That doesn't work, just not compatible. So what you got to do is convert this file. Now, there used to be ways to do it. Maybe just record your screen or use whatever program that is not reliable, whatever. But for quite a while now, there's a program out there. It's called Swivel. You can actually download it from Newgrounds, I believe. It's quite easy to find, but just for those who want to find it quickly, I've put a link in the description that gives you access to this program. It's for free, it's completely free, and it's very useful. So what I'm going to do is just open up that program. Just give me a second. It is right here, Swivel. Just click on it. So you can of course download it for Windows and for Mac. It's available for both systems. There's no problem. Yeah, the only disadvantage of this program, it always opens up with this quite loud sound clip, whatever. So once you are in Swivel, it's quite easy actually. You keep your tab. You're staying at source. You're gonna input your SWF file. You're gonna just click Add. There you go. Just gonna look out for that file that I just created, work file. There you go. Open that up. Now, concerning the movie duration, you can actually change some settings. You can decide at which frame it's going to start and at what frame it's going to end. Just for all intents and purposes, I will keep everything as it is. Render quality high, bitmap smoothing. I guess that's all alright. So now you're going to select where you want to save it, the output video file. And in this case, I'm simply going to save it right here, so that doesn't change. You should maybe check the video size, because this is very important if you want to export it at high resolution. In this case, I chose 1080p, so to speak. There are other options that I personally don't use. You can crop whatever. I never do that. Transparent background, whatever. You can choose the codec. If you want to really go into detail about that, then go ahead and change those settings. I never do that. It's just as fine as it is. Then the audio, you can. Okay, here's the thing. That's the practical thing about Swivel. You can choose between having no audio in your video file. You can extract the audio from the SWF file, which I'm going to do now, or you can use an external audio track, which I sometimes did. Anyways, if you choose that, you have to just browse and look for the audio track on your computer. but I will just leave it at extract from SWF. Keep the audio channel at stereo, I think that's the best, and that's about it. You can also choose to add a watermark or an overlay, that's all up to you. I'm just gonna convert it right away, right now. It just takes a second because it's a very small file, but of course the higher, like the bigger the flash file, the longer it will take to convert it properly to a MP4 file. It's actually going to convert it into an MP4 video file, which is just perfect for Flash. Now let's go. Yeah, conversion successful. You can see it's a 1.6 megabyte file, nothing too major. Let's close the program. Oh, and there it is. And if we open it up, there we go. You have this is the video file, and if I play it, that's the music, and there we go. There we go. That's all there is, really. That's how you can actually export your Flash animation from Flash or Animate and convert it easily with Swivel. I really recommend Swivel. Swivel is probably the best program out there to convert SWF files into all the major video files, like typical video files that have MP4 and, well, I guess it's just MP4, but still that's the standard video file type. Yeah, that's about it, I guess, as far as exporting is concerned. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you another way to add music and sound to your video. Now let's imagine you've made your Flash animation and you just exported it, you converted it into a video file, but you still don't have any music. That's what I usually do. I usually make the animation first. I kind of imagine the sounds that I need to put in, and then I export it, convert it, and then I have the video file without any sound, and then I'm gonna use a audio editing program. Now in this case I'm using the program Screenflow, which usually is used to capture your screen, and afterwards you can edit that video. But in this case I'm using it at the same time as a audio editing program. I know it's not very efficient, but for me that's more than enough. And it can be anything. It can be any kind of audio editing program. I think a program like, I don't know, maybe Sony Vegas is probably also just as perfect. So I'm just gonna take the converted video and I'm gonna insert it here into Screenflow. Now I will not go into detail about how Screenflow actually works. I will just simply demonstrate how I'm gonna add the music to the video. Now let me just quickly delete the audio from this one. We're just gonna detach it, delete it, and all I gotta do is just take my music and put it back inside. There we go, the Starlight Zone, Act Past, and the 2 sound effects. It's pretty easy. Let me just quickly decide at what point. Alright, this is the point where there is sort of a fade out, but in this case it's called ending transition. So I'm just going to use this, and then afterwards, there we go. This is where, okay, maybe I should start it a little bit later. There we go. Let's take care of the sounds. So we've got Sonic. At this point he's running, so I need to add that sound. And he touches the panel right around here. There we go. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna split the clip. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into detail about how this program works. It really depends. If you're using Sonic Vegas, it's gonna be completely different. So in that case, you should maybe watch a different tutorial explaining the audio program that you're using. But in this case, I'm just using Screenflow as a demonstration. And as you can see, I just simply made the music. I'm gonna export it now. I'm not gonna bother with adjusting the volume. And in this case, I'm just going to do a lossless audio only. So I'm only going to export the audio. I'm just going to put it inside of the folder that I've been using. Let's just call it, should I call it work file? There we go. Audio. There we go. Save it. Export it. Now, don't have to save this actually. So now I've got the audio. Now in my case, I have to convert it into a real audio file because AIFF, it's It is an audio file, but I'm not familiar with that one. Usually what I do is just I open it up with a different program, in this case QuickTime Player, and I export it again, audio only, and it will save it as an MP4 audio file. There we go. Takes just a second in this case. Now what I do now is I take the video file, which normally would have no sound. In this case it has sound, but let's forget about that. I'm gonna open up in a program called Subler. It's a program that allows me to actually, how should I say, detach the audio or insert audio tracks. In this case I've got one audio track. I'm just gonna delete it for now. Let's imagine there's no audio track, and I'm gonna put the one that I just created right here. I'm just gonna add it simply. There we go. Need to save it. It's not going to convert the video, it's just going to add the new soundtrack to the video. So when I play it, it has the new music. And I'm gonna say right away, this is my favorite method of adding music to your Flash animation. Because sometimes when I'm using Flash, the music gets a little bit distorted, I'm just gonna say. It's kind of weird, and I'm not sure if it happens just to me, but I just find this method, using an external program to add music, I find that method much better and a little bit more efficient. So the last step now, what is the last step now? Well, the last step would be to upload your video onto YouTube. I'm not going to explain how to do that because it's pretty obvious. If you really want to know more, like really go into detail about uploading and adding a description and thumbnail and all that, I suggest you consider other tutorials, because that's not what I want to that's not what I want to teach in these tutorial videos. And with that, we are pretty much finished with all the tutorial videos. Yeah. So that is it, guys. This was the last video of my tutorial series on how to animate with sprites. Now, I know I've been watching my videos, like these tutorial videos again, to see what I've mentioned, what I said I would be doing in the future, and there are a couple of things that I didn't get to explain the way I wanted. And to be honest, I would like to update them all, but because of time restraints, like I don't have that much time, I won't do that. But I may be doing, like I said before, doing smaller videos, smaller tutorial videos. Nothing like this 30 minutes long video. I don't know how long it's going to end up, but it's pretty long. But what I want to do instead is make snippets, like very small tutorial videos in which I just focus on one specific very small thing. It could be, like I said before, just how to animate the background properly, because that is another art in of itself. Maybe also just show you one neat trick would be VCam. Maybe show you 1-2 nice tricks just in terms of key shortcuts. It could be keyboard shortcuts, anything. So that is something I could be doing in the future. Maybe not as frequently as these tutorial videos. I know it's been, how long has it been? When was the first video? I think that was in, let me just quickly check. That was in 2015. And it's been more than 2 years. Now finally I can say the basic tutorial video series is finished. And anything that comes now afterwards will be, like I said, much smaller and will be more advanced, I would say. So it's no longer going to be basic. If you want to be, if you're watching the whole series up until now, you should have all the baggage, all the basic knowledge how to animate sprites. Now there are a couple of moments where I've been a bit quick, so what you can do now is leave you can leave some questions in the comment section, like asking me how to do this, how to do that. I could, if I have the time, I will take note of that, and I will try to maybe do a live stream in which I will explain some of that, or maybe I will really do those smaller videos, like a number of those smaller videos, just to get into that more in detail. Alright, that's it. My voice is... I'm losing my voice right now. And I thank you very much for watching. And hopefully I can do more videos in the future. I know I've been busy with my full-time job, and it's kind of hard to get back into sprite animating, like at the end of the day. It works much better in the weekend. Like I said in my recent update video, we just only work on the weekends, but since I'm also busy during the weekends, it's kind of hard. So sometimes I even work during the week. And since it's summer, it's actually kind of working well for me. Anyways, that's it. Enough of me blabbling and you with my accent and everything. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. And until then, have fun, take care, and of course, ciao.